All right, good morning. Today is Wednesday, May the 11th, 2022, and we are, as usual, on NQ. Now, today is a little bit different. Today, we have the CPI report. With inflation and rates and all that good stuff, I'm expecting something crazy to happen. I'm expecting the market to have a jolt for sure. So, if you look over here on the top left, my news calendar, or my news indicator, CPI and core CPI, 8:30. It is currently 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time. So, don't want to trade too close to 8:30 for sure. And as usual, I am looking left to trade right. Current bars here. Looking left to see what has happened currently. What do we see? A range, right? We got a clear top, clear bottom on this wall. It came from up there, so we're waiting for a breakout. Breaking short now. And let's see here. Breaking short. Okay, here's my simplicity chart. 1 second. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, it was going sideways. Sideways, breaking short. Here's an entry to go short. So there was just now a short. Market's not moving very much, but I would like it to run a little bit. So let's see what happens here. Just laid a new green eye zone there, institutional zone, telling me that might be a support. But let's see what happens. Okay, it's going down, kind of chopping. Coming down, chopping. A little pullback. Okay, now it's pulling all the way back up to this gap level again, this yellow line here. But that is a choppy, rangy area. I don't want anything at this point, right? I don't want anything in there. I either want it to break long or break short. Okay. Oh, I was looking at somebody else's chart. They were having a bit of an issue on their chart, so I was trying to help them out with a template because there was no trade for me at this point. Now, CPI report comes out. Okay, I'm sorry. This is in the way here, but just about to be 8:30. Watch what happens when this report comes out at 8:30. I'm waiting to see how the market reacts. I know it's going to react, but take note. Wait a second. Let me back it up here. Take note of where we are right now. 12,500, 505. We've been staying between 12,000, 505-ish, all the way up to 525. Look what happens when this report comes out. You'll know when it comes out. There it is. It's out. Look at that go. Man. 100 points just dropped. Now we're at 12,400. Let's get out of that. And it's still dropping. There's another 100 points it dropped. Dropped 200 points within like 10 seconds. If you had the courage to short that, congrats, you made a whole lot of money. Ah, man. So now at this point, I'm sitting on my hands, not even thinking about taking a trade. Look at this market go. Look at that. Wait for about, 5 minutes or so to let it settle and see what happens. Fast forward a little more. See, it's still running, still dropping. Look at this. Now it's running up. That's only been about 2 minutes, almost 2 minutes since the report came out. And it's just flying all over the place. Flying all over the place. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward a little more. Okay. We're about almost 5-minute mark. I even lose the chart here for a second. All right, so here we go. It's still dropping. Look, 12.26. I mean, we're coming on, getting close to 300 points here. Now we're 7 minutes after the report dropped. Market still is not taming up. Still wild, wild, wild. And I don't trade wild. I like movement. I like volatility. I can trade fast markets, but I can't trade insane markets. So I'm waiting. I give this a little bit more time. Look at this drop down to 12,200. This was another simplicity run. Beautiful run. Bunch of people caught that one. I mean, beautiful. But at this point, if I would have taken a trade on my PC, it would have started lagging and locking up, and I wouldn't have been able to move my stop or nothing like that, and that freaks me out. So, here we go. Still, I pull up the room chart, the elite room charts to show what's going on here. I mean, this thing just dropped. Okay, so then I pull up, I decide to load YM, because at this point, I'm like, there's no way. I'm not going to be able to trade this market. This is as if the market is open already. I can't do that. So I load up my my YM chart real quick, do a quick assessment, see what's going on, let it calculate. Okay. And then now, just like normal, what do we see? We kind of have this zone here, kind of a bottom, a little bit of a top right here at this red ice level. It was trending. Now it's kind of ranging. So what do I want? You guessed it. I want it to break out somewhere. Short, break out long. We'll see where it goes. Okay. Fast forward it a little. Okay, now we're breaking short. Okay. Broke this bottom to the left. Now we're running short. I'm looking for an LRE. Where would I be looking for an LRE? Well, probably back up in this area somewhere, right? This deviation was a previous bottom. If this runs long enough, I would want it to come retest this previous bottom to the left. Maybe this mini magnet here. See, what happens is if this goes long enough, it's going to retrace. When it retraces, it's going to probably retrace back to this bottom. So I'm looking, and that's 31,900 level, right? There's a big volume, ice volume node right here. So I'm kind of looking in this area, this zone. See what happens. See, I'm measuring out now. Looking at the right up by the dev level, this magnet here, seeing where my LRE would be. If I would take an LRE, if there's an LRE in that area. If you look at my trend bias down here, it turned red. So now trend is shifted short. Deviation reversal, DR indicator here is still pretty good. Nice and high. We are forming an ODD here. ODD, lower low than the previous. 15%. So, pause. This did pull back. Where did it pull back to? Almost this bottom here, right? Pretty close. Pretty close to this bottom right here. Okay? So I'm eyeing this area. I'm already eyeballing it. But we do have ODD right now, and it laid a magnet here. So I'm being careful because this might be the end of this little run. It might come all the way back up. Now it's broke that mini magnet, still pushing down. So, okay, this might be a nice strong trend down now. This might be good. Okay. So now I'm just waiting. Again, I'm eyeballing this area here, this whole area. Now we already see that it pulled back here and got stopped, right? So if it gives me an LRE back up in this area somewhere with something decent, I would like it. Pulled back, pulled up, come back down here. Let's see if we make a new lower low. And it did make a new lower low. So it still means, I mean, it's still strong, relatively good trend down. I'm looking at the NQ chart here to see if NQ, because typically YM and ES will follow NQ. So I see that NQ is, in fact, in a nice simplicity short. Gives me a little more confidence. It's not running into any walls or anything like that. So now we made a lower low. It is ODD still because it's 54%. So now it's coming back up again. Again, I still want to eyeball this area, but I want something pretty decent. So we have a pullback here. Okay. Now I'm looking at it like, well, oh, as you can see, I got in. But I'm looking at it like, well, here's a top here. We've got some volume built up. It gave me my LRE entry. So this very well could come back down here again because it's formed somewhat of a top. Now it could come back up to this top, but it gave me my entry here. I liked that it was at this top right here and couldn't necessarily, you know, break it a couple times. So I got in. Has a lot of volume. Laying a paw. So here we are. As I said, it has the paw, comes down. Triggers my profit. And got the winner there. All right, and now let's see where it's going to go from here. Yep, looks like I messed up my chart. Okay. There we go. We're back. So now it came back down to this bottom, stopped, ran up. Now I'm waiting again because I'm not going to take if there was another LRE in this area, I'm not going to take it because we had our short right here, right? We had our short, pulled back, you know, did quite a little bit of ranging here. So this was the last one. Run down, comes back up here. I'm not going to take another one down because the probability of it coming back down again, you know, maybe, maybe not. We don't know. So waited. Now at this point, I either wanted to run short again or simplicity flip, give a long, and let's go long. So now I'm waiting. It's chopping. Now it's breaking long. Okay. Here we go. Running all the way back up. My guess would be this ice level here because it's broken everything else going long. You know, pulled back, laid a magnet here, closed up, said I'm going to keep going. Okay. Now, it did have an ODD up here, left a mini magnet and paw up here. So it could be exhausted. That was, you know, a top back here to the left, pulled back. As this is pulling back, I'm looking at this area as this might be a good area to take a trade. We're getting close to having HD. More than likely, we're going to have HD here. And if we have HD and it pulls back to this area, then and gives me that LRE, it should bounce enough to give me my 20 ticks, especially it already happened back here, right? So it's coming down. Now there's HD. It's setting up a TX. I get in. If you notice, we have a star low five low volume score right at this area. Okay. So this very well could go right back up to that Paul mini magnet. I don't target. I just take my 20 ticks because that's my money management. Okay. So now I'm waiting. It's kind of forming this mini magnet here, which I would not like for this to come down and leave a mini magnet right there. That wouldn't be good. We do have this mini magnet. I'm already expecting for it to hesitate some, right? Because look to the left, we got double clusters there. We got this mini magnet here. I'm really expecting some hesitation, so I'm not worried about it. But I had, like I said, nice HD, star 5, low volume score, profit just before the ZOI here. I'm very confident in this trade. And I'm always hovering one tick in front of my entry, because if this gets really close, I'll drop my stop there. But profited, and here it goes up. Let's see if it actually goes to that level. And it does. Well, almost. See, and that's why I don't target, because if I targeted this, you know, I'd have to move my stop here to lock in my 20. So I would have got my 20 anyways. Then it pulls back and goes. Here's the simplicity chart with the trades. Okay. See, here's that one. It pulled back here. It wasn't quite, I mean, it was a couple points away, because here's the previous solid line. So it was here. I tried to get in, you know, up here, which would have been closer, but I don't always get filled exactly where I wanted. But, you know, I'm looking at the 10 tick to tell me where to get in anyways, not exactly right here at the solid line. So I got in and, you know, came down, gave me a win. Simplicity long ran up, pulled back, got in here, got my 20 ticks. And that was it. Done for the day. About 9:20 almost before the market. Yeah, 9:16 Eastern time. And I was done. So at this point, it ran up. I just let it run a little bit so I could watch the open. But that was it. Got my 40 ticks and done for the day. All right. Hope everybody has a great day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.